They call me Lil J. I rap in LA. When you see me on the street, you might want to fight me. I'm the cutest one, the baddest chick. You might try to fight me, but my rhymes is slick.
And when did you write that?
I don't even know. I'm probably like 10, maybe. I know, and I'm from the DC. Like, I don't know. It went. They call me J. LA. It was like, I ain't care. I realized that wasn't my calling quick.
Welcome to the Let's Talk Money Honey podcast with me, Khadija Bingham, where we spill the tea on entrepreneurship. The sweet, the sour, and most importantly, we're talking money, honey.
I am so excited to have my good friend and sister in business, I feel like, with me, Ajee. We are about to tear it up. She is going to give y'all the real, and let's just get into it. Ajee, tell us about yourself.
Hello. First of all, thank you so much, Khadija. I'm so excited to even be doing this and getting some practice. So thank you so much for even having me, because you have been a pillar to me, probably more than you actually know, just watching you, meeting you when I first started my business. So this
you
is
cry?
huge.
You know my eye already watering.
I know, right? I know, right? But anyway, so yes, I am Ajee Cook. I'm the owner and founder of Done and Done, also known as your Chief Get It Done Officer. And basically what we do is we offer back office, administrative, and operational support to business owners, entrepreneurs, and aspiring leaders. So that's me.
Love
That's
that.
me.
So we open up every episode with your sweet moment and your sour moment. So if you can share with us one sweet moment that you've had in your entire entrepreneurship journey, and then a sour moment as well.
Okay, so I would say my sweet moment is not necessarily a moment. It's every time I meet other business owners, every time I network, every time I go and meet other entrepreneurs. It's just when I see the million businesses, the creative people, I always feel overwhelmed, like my cup is overflowed. I can go to a networking event, come home, I'm like, wait, somebody has a pound cake business and they only make pound cakes. Or it's like, oh, wait, somebody created this case or something amazing. So I would say my sweet moment as being an entrepreneur is meeting other entrepreneurs. It's amazing. It's like, wow, everybody has a lane and some form of creativity. So,
And that inspires you.
Does it? I be feeling like, because some days, as entrepreneurs, like sometimes you be like, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing?
Girl,
Or
like,
does this sell?
Am I delusional?
Yeah.
Like, why did I
And
sign
so
up
then when
for
I
this?
hear other people, I'm like, well, you made $1 million off of that. Like, or you made $10 off of that. It doesn't matter. Like, the fact that, I can be around other people and see, like, wow, everybody has a lane that pushes me in my lane. Like, okay, this one's mine, but this one's yours. And we just both moving forward. So
Love.
that's my sweet moment.
All right, hit us with the sour.
Sour child, we ain't making no money. We ain't making no
Listen,
money. Oh, baby, I'm
listen.
tore up. I'm
That's a real thing that
crying.
people don't talk about, right?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
What happens when you're
Yep.
running a business and it's not making any money?
Yep, I think now we are going on to year 3 of I'm going in year 3 of being a full-time entrepreneur, and I feel like, I guess, sour would be just when I'm feeling like it's being steady. Like, I'm like, wait a minute, it's just being too consistent. Like, I like to see, like, okay, this happened, that happened, the ups and downs, but sometimes it's months where it's just like, whoo, you kind of just staying the same. That's scary. I don't even know if that's called sour. That's scary. Because it's like, it almost puts you in a place where you're trying to figure out, is this thing going to grow? Or wait, did I hit my top? Or something like that. So I would say that sour moment, that scary moment is basically like when things are consistent, because I'm always looking to grow it and make it bigger. So
Yeah. Oh, thank you for sharing.
yeah.
Thank you for sharing, because I think so often, and why I think the sweet moments are important, but they're important because, like, we have to highlight when things are going well, when we're feeling ourselves and affirming ourselves too. But I don't think enough people talk about our sour moments, especially as entrepreneurs. On Instagram, it's just like,
Oh
be an
yeah,
entrepreneur,
absolutely.
Quit your job.
I mean, you
It's
can
the
just
best
post a
thing
picture
ever.
with your arms folded, and it's like, girl, you did your big one. It's like, yeah, but when I let them arms down, yeah, it gets crazy on the other side. So
No.
absolutely,
That's real. So, Ajee, I am introducing something new.
Okay.
to the podcast. So we did our sweet moment. We did our sour moment. I want to do a money moment.
Okay.
So I have rapid fire questions that are related to money in your business.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you to them really quick, and I have my cheat sheet with me here so that I don't miss anything, just so that we can get to know a little bit more deeper into your business and what it's like from a financial perspective, since we're talking money, honey, you know.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. What has been your highest revenue month this year?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's a month. It's going to be a quarter.
Okay, which quarter?
And I would say first quarter.
Q1?
Yep, Q1.
Okay. What's the price of your most expensive service?
Whew, that's a good question. So I know this is rapid, right? I need to.
It's cool.
Okay. So I would say that the way our packages are set up, they're monthly in their contract. So it can vary between $1,500 to thousands of dollars a month based on the amount of time you need us. Because we offer that day-to-day administration, we may have a customer who come to us and say, we want to pay for five hours a week. Well, yeah, that won't run you $3,000. Right. Well, we may have another company's like, we need 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. Well, you're looking at over $6,000-$7,000 because you're looking for almost a full-time employee. Okay. But you just want to use a contractor. So it's hard to say what it can be because it can really go up. And then with our chief and then with our chief getting done officers, you can have. I mean, we've had companies who've come to us and say, "Hey, we want this specific person to work just on recruitment." Okay. And then somebody else is working as the executive assistant to the CEO of the company. So now you have two different virtual assistant, executive assistants working on your team. So your price might be even more because now you're using two people. So it's kind of hard to really answer that. But
what's your biggest contract that you've had to date?
I would say
on a monthly package.
Yeah. So I would say my biggest contract is probably about $5,000
a month.
Yep.
Oh, that's
for
amazing.
Just one contract. Yep. That would probably be my biggest. And child, when that happened, I was like, hold on, girl, I'm a big dog.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think our largest one was $2,500 a month.
Yep.
And we no longer have that client.
Yep. And
sour moment for sure.
Yeah. I would say ours it was $5,000. And they stayed like that for 3 months. And then at renewal, they went down. Okay. So that was sour moment, right? Yeah. That was like, wait a minute, what happened? Yeah. But obviously the price was really high. And they decided, we need to kind of scale back a little bit and we move some things around. So
that was like similar to us too.
Yeah.
It was like, can we take a break? And I'm like, they say break, but I don't really think it's a break.
Oh, yeah, absolutely not. And that's almost so hard to hear during a contract renewal conversation. Yeah. Like, hold on, wait, what you mean? Right. Like, we can talk about it.
Okay. I'm getting a little personal now, but what was your salary or wage at your last job before you enter entrepreneurship?
My last job, my last job, I worked as an executive assistant. I usually don't like to count that job because I got that job after being laid off. So I got laid off due to COVID when I was making really good money.
So how much was you making at that job?
That job, I was probably making about $82,000.
Have you been able to pay yourself that yet in your business?
Girl, please.
No.
I'm going on 3 years of entrepreneurship. Are you crazy? No. 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 Heck no. I gotta pay employees. I gotta pay insurance. I gotta pay so much stuff. Absolutely not.
When do you think you'll be able to replace that salary?
I think that what I've learned in my entrepreneurial journey is that I don't even know if it's a thing of replacement. I'm not sure if that's the right word to use. Right. I mean, I don't know how to explain what I call as capital now. Like, I feel like money was just actually $1. But for me now, being an entrepreneur, I realized that like there's really no price tag on how far I want the company to go. So I get paid off of interactions. I get paid off of this so it's hard to say. I've made $80,000, yeah, because I've made connections. I put myself in rooms. I put myself in places. People know about us. So the money is like is tangible, but it's like I've met my goal. Where when I was working full time and I was making $82,000 a year, I was making my money. I was miserable. I was unhappy. I had to do my 8 and skate, but I had to listen to somebody else tell me what to do, and I didn't feel like they knew what they were doing. So as far as meeting my goal, financially, I mean, I would say that I don't even scale my finances in that way anymore, which is crazy because I used to think that like money was this huge thing, but
like
money
it was
is
the only measure of success.
yeah, and it's like absolutely not. And I'm happy you said that because um when I was in undergrad, this is so off, but I was really quickly, I did a pageant and I remember saying, success is not the key to happiness, but happiness is the key to success. And so I live by that, right? Because I used to measure success about how much money I had. I used to measure success about how big of an office I had. Okay, what do I have on? But now being an entrepreneur, I measure success about how happy I am. So I am content. So yes, I haven't seen what I made, but I'm content. I enjoy what I'm doing, and there's no price point on that. So that was a little deep.
No, thank you so
But
much.
that's my truth.
Yeah.
So that's just the honest. That's me being 100% vulnerable and honest about did I meet my goal. Now I'm gonna be very clear. Yeah, I need to meet a little bit. I need to make that goal, and I will. And my goal is to do that. I would say a 5-year goal. We're on 3 years. I say within the next 2 or 3 years that's possible. But this entrepreneurship we talk about.
Yeah, entrepreneurship is hard, and I think that like one of the mistakes that I made when I was first leaving my job is I set a goal the completely wrong way.
Right.
I was like, okay, well, when I first started my corporate job, I was making $65,000. So if my business can make $65,000, I'll feel good.
Yeah.
But it's like when your business can earn $65,000, that don't mean that you take it home $65,000 because you got people to pay, you got systems to pay for. So it was like really understanding the difference between I can run a business that can make the same salary as my previous job, but me making that same, my business earning that same income is not the same as me walking home with that money as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it was
not.
like,
it's scary. I mean, when I was working my full-time job before COVID and I was making $82,000, my first year in business, I didn't even make half of that. Yeah. Like, I didn't even make half of what my actual salary was when I was working. Do you know how hard that was to swallow? Like, wait, I need to hang this.
Well,
I need to hang this up.
How hard was it to swallow? I need to rethink rapid fire because I want to go deep.
I know, right?
But yeah, like, how hard was that to swallow for you? Like, what did that do for you mentally, emotionally? Like, how did you feel about yourself? Like, why was that hard to swallow for you?
I think it was because I was living a certain life. I was living a life where I can get up and go, and then, after getting laid off from that job, looking for a job. I mean, even once I got laid off from that job where I was making that money and I took a pay cut, and then I was making like $48,000 as working as an executive assistant. And this is probably going into a whole nother place, but I had already kind of took a huge pay cut and taking another job during COVID from what I was making when I got laid off. Okay. So because of that, going into entrepreneurship, I had already started budgeting. I had already realized that, like, okay, I have to budget like this. But it was, I mean, it's crazy. Like, I like to live a soft life and get massages and my hair done and all these great things. And it's like, wait a minute, you have to really look at every single penny. Now, I can tell you where every single penny is at, where it went to, where it go. But I used to live like, I ain't got no kids. I ain't got no this. $82,000. Let me get that Chanel bag. Let me get that. Oh, I'm eating out every day. Tacos and a lobster tail.
Meal prepping what?
Yeah, why would I have to live like that? But I think that just growing up in general, just maturing in general, and then being an entrepreneur, you just realize, like, okay, I got to put money where it needs to be. I have to make investments in where it needs to go. Like, it's hurtful now, and I think all the time, like, my business is 100% remote. I should just get me another job back when I was making really good money, or what, I would say was good money at the time anyways, and do that job and my business so that I can be able to, bounce it off and it can actually make sense. But now it's like, I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah. You're like, I can't.
You never say never. I ain't never going back to work. I don't care if I make $20,000 a year. Guess
you
what?
You think so? Really?
I promise you, I don't think I can ever go back to a full-time job. I'm not even going to lie.
Like, I think I could.
I don't know, girl. I don't think I can do that.
Really?
I do not think I can go back. I mean, I love my freedom. I love my freedom. I love my flexibility. I get up and I do whatever I want to do, whatever I need to do. And it feels so rewarding when I actually get a contract, when I close on a contract, it's like it feels so much better because what my business is about is what I did full time. Yeah. So I worked I worked as a project manager, program manager, supervising people and teams. I worked in human resources. So my business is built off of my skill and my experiences, but my skill of who I've always been. And I think that's so crazy because if like you would ask my family or something like that, they say, "Oh, girl, without a doubt, we knew you'd be doing this. Like this is not normal for you." And I'd be like shocked, like, "Wow, I'm doing this," and they like, "Yeah, we don't." It doesn't like surprise us. In your purpose. Absolutely walking in my purpose. I think that when I was going through being laid off and unemployed for that long time, I took so much time soaking in what I was going through. And I wish, like, I look back now and be like, I wish I would have identified then, like sooner, I should say, before when I actually identify what it is. Because now what I do, I don't even feel like I'm at work. I'm at work right now. This is the work. Yeah. I don't feel like I'm at work. I'm with my girl.
You look good too.
Thank you, girl. So yeah, so it's like to go back to corporate. It's like, would I have time to do this? Like a Sunday, girl, no.
Are you a small business owner and you struggle to answer some of the questions that I just asked during the money moment? Great news, you are in the right spot. My firm, Money Honey Financial, we have bookkeeping solutions for every budget. So whether you are a seasoned business owner and you're just ready to completely outsource bookkeeping, or you're just getting started and you need someone to help you set up your QuickBooks, we have a solution for you. So head to my website, www.moneyhoneyfinancial.com/bookkeeping so that you can get started today and you can have better money moments.
Girl, no.
So let's talk. We can finish rapid fire towards the end.
I know I got a little deep. I'm sorry, girl.
No, because you keep bringing up laid off, COVID. You just said long time. Like, walk us through that. What does that mean? So you were working this job, $82,000. Then you were laid off. It was budget cuts, COVID?
Yeah, so I think it was just COVID. It was a nonprofit. Okay. So it was a little bit of everything. Like I got laid off and during that time it was like I hit rock bottom. I got to probably one of the lowest places of my life that I have ever been at, seeing myself. And we keeping it raw, so I'm gonna be real. Please. I got evictions, car boots. I mean, I had hit a place where I felt like somebody like me who worked so hard. I have a master's in business administration. I have a bachelor's degree. I've worked so hard to get to where I was. So when I got laid off, I had a little savings account with a couple $1,000. I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to work this. I'm going to try to figure this out. But when I realized that, I was like, you know what? Where am I at? What am I going to do? Kind of like, how do I navigate this space? Like, I'm here. This is what's going on. And I had a mentor who was like, you know what? Why don't you start being a freelancer? She's like, why don't you start out being a freelancer? Just offer some soft skills on Fiverr or Upwork or something that you already was doing at your job until you can find a job. And then I always tell people, like, you know, I'm just doing this until I find a full-time job. But then it became my full-time job because when I started going to networking events and I started telling people that this is what I do and this is how I do it, then people would start telling more people. And then next thing you know, I'm getting phone calls. Like, I remember I had a husband and wife, and they say this young girl. It's like, thank you. So, but they always say like, this young girl, she just be doing stuff. Like she just like anything you need, little task, you just ask her to do it. But it's because that's how it started. It started of this young girl just doing tasks because at that point I was about to lose everything that I had ever worked so hard to have. So from there, I said, okay, I'm gonna start doing this, and it became a snowball effect. I started going to more and more events and more people started learning and started knowing about it. And the next thing you know, I was like, oh my gosh, I think I have a business. And then somebody said, do you have a business? And it's like, no, but I'm about to go home because I need to get a business. Like I literally came home. I started looking up LLCs. How do you get an LLC? How do you get an EIN? I had no idea what an EIN is. I'm a business student. They don't teach you that.
Sure don't.
So like I had to come back home and figure out what all of this was. Like I had never heard of an S Corp, C Corp. I didn't even, there's levels to this thing. So after coming back home a couple months, really diving into what does this look like, I went, got a business, got it registered, did everything. And I'm like, okay, now it's like, how do I sell it? And it's like, I'm going to be telling people about it. And you go through all the different transitions about how much I'm gonna charge people? When I first started my business, I was charging people $300 a month. Now we don't even sign contracts less than $1,500 a month.
Period.
It's like this is where we are now.
Right.
But it's the growth of understanding how to structure the company on the back end. And that is exactly what we try to do for other companies by helping them understand what does that look like.
Right. I love that. So that's how Done and Done was born.
Yes.
And so that was after you were laid off from the $82,000 job. You also mentioned that there was a $48,000 job in there too.
Mm-hmm.
How did that fall in line with you starting the business? Was that after? Was that before?
So that was after. So I got laid off. I was unemployed for about 10 to 11 months. And then I got hired. I got a job as the executive assistant, got a huge pay cut.
Okay.
And that was a nonprofit too. Okay. And during that job, I was working as the executive assistant. I was like, you know what? I'm coming in. I'm going hard. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And in my 90-day probation at a job, girl, they put me in the office and they was like, I'm sorry, but we have to do pay cuts and we're going to have to let you go.
Oh, my God.
Girl, I looked at them people. I said, I'll sweep the floors, janitor position. I don't care what it is. Y'all don't understand. I just came off of 10 months. I am on my last everything. You cannot let me go. Like, you cannot let me go. It was a room, a big table, and they were just like, we're so sorry and we feel bad because we know your story. I walked out of there. That was actually Market Street. That was downtown Philadelphia. And I came out of there, and I'll never forget because when I left, I sat on the ground outside. It's like a Shake Shack over there on 12th Street. And I sat on the ground, and I was crying. Like, when I tell you kicking, screaming, like, it's like, come on, God, I need you to show up.
Right.
I need you to show up. Because I'm dependent on you now. Because I need you to go into overdrive. Because I'm done. And sure enough, after I acted a fool on the street, I got myself together, got on the bus, and I went home. And that's when I had called my mentor. And she said, listen, you need to figure out something else. She's like, I don't know what it's going to be, but start trying to do the freelancing until you can find something. And from that day forward, I started freelancing. And here I am going on 3 years of freelancing.
Wow. I love that. And I think hearing that story to me really helps me understand and explain why you feel like you're never going back to a 9-to-5.
Yeah.
Because when I think about freedom, right, like people think of freedom of time. It sounded to me like those jobs had so much over you. Like they had the power to let you go. So now that you're doing your own thing, where you might have a client let you go here and there, it don't hurt as much than something you feel like you're completely dependent on something and them just being like, hey, like, we know your story, but budget cuts.
Yeah, like it's beyond me. It's like that's what they say. It's like this is beyond you and me, and so this is what we have to do. And for me, it's just like, I never want to be in that position again. I never want to count out. I don't care. The place I was at mentally, absolutely not. Yeah. I pray that I never have to see those moments again. And if I see somebody else in the child, I'll fool around and help them because I'm like, that was a very low place, especially like I said, when you put the work in, when you think you're doing the right thing by going to college and doing this and trying to create a life for yourself. And then the reality sinks in. It's just like, this is a life for somebody else. And if things get crazy, they'll let you go because they have to, because it's nothing that they can do about that. So when I created this space for me, it's not only just I'm creating a business, is that my business is based off around my own skill. Everything that I was doing for all these other people. I used to say, I want to be a CEO. And God was like, girl, you're going to be a CEO, just not for nobody else. You're going to do it for your own self. You're going to run your own thing. And so with that, it was just like, you asked the question, like, you feel like you're walking in your purpose? Absolutely. Everything I do is who I am. This is who I am. So when I wake up and say, would you ever go back to work? It's like, I'm at work. I'm at work. I am, every day that I show up, every customer that I have, every client that we have, every consultation that I have, I'm telling them I'm giving them ways and opportunities to better themselves, but I'm just telling them what I already do, what I've done for those other companies, how I help other companies scale when I worked full time. So, yes.
Oh, wow. I love that. You got me over here. So beautiful. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that takes a lot of vulnerability. I really appreciate that. So you're going into year 3 now. What's different about year 3 than it was year 1?
Oh, we have a lot more structure. Okay. I would say year 1, it was just me. It's just me and the company. At this point, we've hired, we have actual people who work in the company
How's
now.
that feel?
Girl, listen, it be hard.
Yeah.
It be
What's
hard.
hard about it?
I think it's a couple things that's hard. One thing is that you got to make payroll. That's the biggest thing.
Yo.
You have somebody else is dependent on you to keep their lights and water on. So it's important to me that I get out and do the things that I need to do, because when in year one, it was just me. I had serviced all these companies by myself and I did everything by myself. But now it's like, in order for us to scale, I had to hire people. Now you hire people, what does that look like? The people are here now, they have to get paid. Business has to continue to grow.
Do you find that it is easier for you to go out and network because you have other people depending on you now, as compared to when it was just you depending on you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That, and I genuinely love to network.
Yeah. Oh my God. You're like the networking queen.
I love it. I told you what was my sweet moment. I absolutely love it. It is so many people who are doing so many amazing things. And I just want to hear. I might not ever know. You might not ever hear from me again. I may not ever actually need to use your services. But if I have the ability to network with somebody, I can always put somebody else in a room. And me being a business owner, I understand how important that is. I mean, I've had consultations with people in year one. Last month, somebody came back. It's like, oh, remember we talked back in 2020? Excuse.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, girl, I do remember you though. From where? From where? And I take pride in that. I take pride in trying to remember the people that I meet when I go to these places, because they always come back around.
Yeah.
Or I'll have a consultation. I say, we had a company in Miami. I said,
how did you find out about us?
I ain't even been around them. I never even been. I've been to Miami, but it wasn't on no business stuff. So it's like a company in Miami heard about me.
Wow.
What are you talking about?
How did they hear about you?
Well, they said that some other guy told them about something. They said that this guy met him. They said the owner, this one guy, I met him at the W one time. They had a networking event at the W Hotel. I don't know. I don't even know this event. I swear, I asked them several times, like, it's no way that was me. That was me. I don't even be at the W. Like, what in the world? But nonetheless, yes. So when we got that contract, I was like, wow, okay, somebody told somebody about this company. And that was our first out of state. Well, I wouldn't say out of state, because we had companies in New Jersey, but, out of state. It was just like, whew, okay. And it was so big to me, because it was like, at that time, it was my first biggest contract. It was out of state. I didn't care if they was paying me pennies. I wanted to do it for them, because I felt like we made it.
Wow.
We made it. It's like little small things is being an entrepreneur that just are like, who, if I'm having a horrible day and I get a consultation with somebody out of state, and I'm like, how'd you hear about us? And they start talking about somebody else that I don't even remember who they're talking about. I'm thinking, like, this is a win.
Yeah.
Everything, computers could have failed today. I've been trying to do this all day. It couldn't have worked, but this is a win.
Yeah.
This is a huge win.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
You be having computer issues?
Girl, all the time, yeah.
Dog, that's the one thing I miss about corporate America.
We are 100% remote. My team, I have a staff who's in LA. She be having issues. And I'm like, girl, I don't know what is going on over there.
Yeah.
It's a whole time difference, because we take customers or clients all around the United States. We have staff all around the United States. We have a staff in Atlanta. We have a staff in New York. We have a staff in Delaware, and we have staff in LA. So it's like
how big is your team?
4.
Okay.
We have 4. We have 3 chief get it done officers, and we have 1 account manager who also takes clients, and then we have obviously myself, and then we have 2 board members.
Okay. Are any of your employees full time?
No.
Okay.
Nope. None of our employees are full time yet.
Yeah.
Yet. But yes.
What's the goal for you to be able to start having people full time?
By the end of this year. Yeah, we looking to turn some of those part timers into full time by the end of this year. Yeah.
I love that. I've been having a hard time with affirmations lately. Just because transparently I haven't been feeling as proud of myself as I used to. And with affirmations, it's like you affirming yourself. And I'm like, it's hard for me to say I am these things when I don't feel like it right now.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I have been doing was, instead of saying what I feel like I am, I'm saying what I know that I'll become.
Mhm.
So one of the things that I've been repeating to myself every morning is that I am running a business that will be able to hire people full
Yeah.
time that are based in Philadelphia,
Yeah.
and offer them 401k benefits.
Mhm.
The one thing I've been afraid to do is put a time stamp on it.
Mhm.
So in the mornings I don't say the time stamp, but I really would love to be able to do that by the end of next year.
Yeah.
Because I do have full time employees, but I can't afford people in America. They're so expensive. So, like, my full time person is in another country because I can afford $13 an hour, 40 hours a week, right? But like $28 for that, like I would have to pay that person, like a person in that role here. It's just like not feasible for me as a small business owner.
Yeah, and I would say too, like, I mean, obviously my goal is by the end of this year to hire full time. But another thing too that I'm learning with being an entrepreneur is that, like, I set the goal. You know, if the goal doesn't get met, that doesn't mean that the goal hasn't got met.
Right.
You know, I don't know if that makes sense.
Because it's
but
like not your time.
Yeah,
for real,
it's
for
like
real, it's like
I say all the time, which is probably crazy, and my business coach would laugh at me. Is like, I will set a goal that sounds unrealistic.
Yeah.
Like, even though we going on fourth quarter, like, I will set a goal that's that high, and I would say, okay, I'm just gonna do whatever I can do to get to it.
Because otherwise, how do you make sure that you're working towards
Exactly.
it?
Yeah.
No, I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
And then what would be the first full-time position? Like, what would be your first full-time hire? Would it be the account manager, or would it be one of the chief get-it-done officers?
It would be the account manager.
Okay.
Yeah, it would absolutely be the account manager.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
I'll be praying for you.
Thank
and that
you.
you're able to hit that goal, because I know just as a business owner how important it is, or how much easier it would be if you had someone dedicating their time to your business. Like, sometimes it gets tricky when people got other responsibilities because they literally have to live, so they have to have more than one job, and you can only talk to them during certain hours.
Oh, absolutely.
Business doesn't work like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, so
especially when you guarantee your customer a certain type of service.
Exactly. Exactly.
When you going out and you putting in the work and you telling your customers that this is what they can expect if they come here, and then it's like, but what y'all doing? Because y'all supposed to back me up.
Yeah.
So yes, absolutely.
No, I love that. And then, Ajee, with you working with so many business owners, especially in like the operation space, what are some things that you find business owners aren't doing that they should be doing? That may be like quick and easy changes that they could make within their business?
Yeah. Thank you so much for asking that, because that's a really good question. And I think that one of the biggest things that I see from a lot of our clients who come to us, their issue is in their company is retention. They're trying to figure out why they can't get more customers. And the thing that I find is that they're not getting their customers because they do not have a workflow for their customers. There's no customer workflow. Like, they don't have a system in place on how to take their client from top to bottom. Like, what does that look like for them? So a lot of times we might get a client who comes to us. They say, well, if we had someone to answer the phones, then we can make more money. Or if we had someone who can send out emails on our behalf, then we can make more money. And then as we begin to do an audit on their company, then we realize, what is the system for your customers? So when a customer actually comes to you, how do you take them from top to bottom? What does that step-by-step look like?
Mean like once they sign up, or once they express interest?
From the moment that they express interest. Like, how do you take your customer from expressing interest to, can you leave us a review on how we helped you? Like, in a lot of businesses, I find, in our spaces, that when they come to us, they're like I said, we do admin. So the first thing that they're saying is like, oh, well, they need to delegate all their stuff out. They're like, I'm a solopreneur, or I have a team of 3 or 4 people, and we're looking to outsource some things. And so that's why we're calling you to talk to you about it. And I'm like, okay. Then I get in there and I'm looking, and I'm like, all right, we're looking at the audit. We putting them through this. We putting them through that. And I'm like, well, you can't retain your customer because you don't have a system in place to actually, when they tell you that they're interested in your service, then what?
So what do you mean system? Like, what are things that like they don't have in place that they should? Is it like an actual like automated system that's
so
like
yeah, it can be that. It can be simple as in so it can be simple as in a CRM or a project management software, or it's a simple workflow. Like, I always try to tell people, workflows are very simple. It's very simple as in when you wake up in the morning, you open your eyes. Step 1. You sit on the edge of your bed, step 2. You yarn, step 3. You put your slippers on, step 4. Then you walk to the bathroom, step 5. Like, that is a workflow.
Yeah, whether it's automated or not.
It
like,
doesn't matter. It needs to be
needs
something.
to know
And a lot of businesses, they struggle because they don't have that. They don't know. They're like, oh, okay, I have this great idea and I'm going to help and I'm going to do this. Or I have this product and I want to sell this. But it's like, okay, how do you get to your customer? You know, first of all, who is your customer? I always tell businesses, we have a program called the accountability program. Okay. And this program is not for someone who's actually looking for executive assistant help. They're just trying to figure out what to figure out. And I love those calls because they're hour, they're bi-weekly, so it's 2 a month. But on those calls, I get the actual opportunity to talk to business owners to kind of understand where the mishap is. Like, what is actually happening here? There's very small, intricate, it's a small thing. If you have you can put it on a Google Doc. You can write it in your iPhone notes if you want to. But what is the step-by-step from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to take your customer through your entire process? So many people do not have it. So if you have a product and it's like, okay, I'm selling this edge control, I don't know, a lip gloss, I don't know, something. And it's like, okay, well, how do you get that in front of your customer? Yeah. Once it gets in front of your customer, how do you get your customer to get in? Once your customer gets in, what happens? Like, once they purchase one lip gloss because they just like, I'm going to just try it because she really pressing it on me and we had a pop-up, so let me get it. But how do you get that customer to stay? And come back and buy more. Or how do you sell about this lip gloss that's different from that lip gloss? I always tell people Uber and Lyft, same business model. They have the same exact business model. They do the same exact thing. But what is it here that's putting them out there? So really looking at, your target market. Another question that I always ask business owners is like, how did you get started? Because that's really big on how do you actually excel. Like, I always tell people, say, what's one thing of advice that I can give? It's like, what's your passion for this? I have one of my girlfriends now who's looking to start like a juicing company or something like that. And I asked her, the first thing I asked her, I said, well, why? What's your why? Why are you doing this? Are you doing this for fun? Is it a hobby? Or are you trying to make money from it? Right. Because that's going to dictate how far your business is going to go. So did I answer that? Yeah. Okay.
So like, if someone comes to you and they're like, I want to start a juicing company, and they like, what do you think the why should be before they actually decide to do it full time? Like, if it's just a hobby, then you just like, oh girl, that's just a hobby.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think understanding what the why is dictates on, for me, it'll tell me, it puts me in a position to know how fast they want to scale. So if you're saying, okay, this is just a hobby, then money is not important to you. So that means that we can actually take some time to build this out. Where other people, we have businesses who are already 100% flowing, 100% functioning. So with that, they're like, listen, we're trying to take this from here to there, and we have all our systems in place. We have everything. We just need to delegate. We need somebody to step in and do the stuff that we already have in place. All right, fine. That's easy. That's simple. And we find gaps there sometimes too, but it's a lot easier and it's a lot more simple for those customers because they're like, listen, this is where we are and this is what we're trying to do. So understanding that why in your journey or in your entrepreneur journey or your business is so important to how far you're going to scale, where you're at right now. I always tell people, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's going to take time. What does time look like? All of that great stuff. So,
did you have access to capital when you started your business?
Who? I just told you how I started my business. I got laid off
within the last 3 years. Then, like,
So yes, one thing about me, I try my best to apply for grants and stuff all the time.
Girl,
always applying for grants all the time. Now, I did have an opportunity to do a pitch competition a few years ago where I was able to come in second place and win in $4,000 in grant money. Congrats. And that was the only piece of capital really? that I actually won. Now, we didn't apply to over 150,000 grants, but that was the only one where I actually applied to it. We got selected. I went, and girl, I was on Shark Tank. Don't play with me. I went out there and I sold it.
I know that's right. And that's the only grant that you've received in your business to date so far?
So far, only grant that I've received in my business. I mean, we have like annual events. I always put out to our past customers to sponsor some of our past events. And I want to shout out to our sponsors. Thank you. Yeah. Y'all are godsend. Because we had people who really just, they just mess with me for real. Like they just mess with me and they'll donate or they'll sponsor, and we're not a nonprofit. So they're just genuinely saying like, oh, Shay, I really respect what you're doing and we want to give you this. We have an event coming up October 1st.
Okay.
It's called Dine and Defense Cybersecurity Essentials for Entrepreneurs. And this event is it's about cybersecurity for entrepreneurs, protecting your brand. But I'm saying this because I had put it out. I put the save the date out, and one of my girlfriends I went to college with, she hit me up, and she was like, "How can I help?" And I was like, "Girl, we need money. we got a lot of stuff we got to do." And she said, "All right, I want to sponsor." I said, "Oh, okay. Can you sponsor the swag bags?" She purchased all the swag bags, so they on their way. They'll be here this week.
I love that.
So if you talk about capital, sometimes that happens, sometimes that don't. So
I love that. Thank you for sharing that, because I think so many people are just like, you don't realize that like you can apply for 150,000 grants.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then only get one.
Yeah. And get that you get the million emails saying, "Thank you, your business is great, but we decided to go with
Another way."
Gosh,
Yeah.
another one?
Yeah.
And it's so crazy because if you're not a grant writer, you have to put money into grant writing, right? You have to now get somebody to write the grants for you so that you can make sure you have it, and you have to pay them to do that, and then you don't even get the grant.
You don't even know if you're gonna get the grant.
Exactly.
How about credit? Like, have you used like credit cards, or were you able to get a loan or a line of credit or anything like that?
Yeah, so we do. I have one business credit card. I
Okay.
have one business credit card. I don't like that.
Yeah.
That scares me. So I used to live my life like if I don't have it, it's not going to happen. But then COVID happened. And I said, all right, girl, we got to use that. We're going to have to use that. So yes, I do have one business credit card. And it's scary. That credit card is scary. I hate when I have to use that credit card. And that's something I need to probably work with you about.
Yeah, but so you don't use it often?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
okay.
We have all of our like anything that's automatic that has to come out, subscriptions and stuff, it is tied to the business credit card, yes.
Okay. Oh, wow. Well, Ajee, our time is almost up.
Okay.
And this has been so insightful. You got me thinking about a lot of things that I just need to take back and take away personally for me and my own business. Thank you for being so honest and so raw always.
I try, girl.
I really, really, really appreciate it. And I know that so many people, like I'm just thinking now, I'm like, damn, customer, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Do I know?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of things that I know, but there's a lot of things I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And as a business owner, what I've learned recently within like the last 2 to 3 weeks is that there's a lot of things that I know that no one else on the team knows, and that's
Right.
a huge problem.
Yeah.
Because that's why I'm so busy all the time. Because
Right.
I'm the only person that can
That
do
knows
certain
this.
tasks.
Yep.
So I just really need to, I think my homework for this week is to think through the multiple workflows that we have and really document key one, like start with the key ones. So I'm definitely going to take that away. But as we wrap up, can you leave parting advice for any aspiring entrepreneurs or current entrepreneurs, and then let everyone know where they can find you and stay in touch?
Yes, absolutely. So the advice that I would give, I think I said it here, and this is the advice that I live by, is success is not the key to happiness, and happiness is the key to success. And it just simply means that, don't measure how happy you are based on how successful you are, but measure how happy you are on how successful you are, if that makes any sense. So, and obviously we are Chief Get It Done Officer across all platforms. Our website, chiefgetitdoneofficer.org, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. And yes, that's us.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Let's Talk Money Honey podcast with me, your host, Khadija Bingham. I hope you found today's conversation with Ajee insightful. Entrepreneurship isn't easy, but it's in these real experiences and raw moments that true growth happens. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your fellow hustlers and bosses. And if you're not already, make sure you follow us on Instagram. The link to our Instagram is in the show notes. And for all additional resources that Money Honey offers can be found in the show notes as well. Until next time, keep hustling, keep thriving, and keep making money, honey.